Mel Gibson is back, and he's stirring up a storm before the cameras even roll. His sequel to the 2004 blockbuster The Passion of the Christ, now titled The Resurrection of the Christ, is finally in production, but fans are already divided over one major decision: the recasting of the film's most iconic roles. Caviezel, who became synonymous with Jesus and left an unforgettable mark on audiences worldwide, will not be returning. In his place, Finnish actor Jaakko Ohtonen is stepping into one of the most scrutinized roles in film history. And he's not the only change. Monica Bellucci, who played Mary Magdalene with elegance and gravitas, is being replaced by 36-year-old Cuban actress Mariela Garriga, known for her role in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. The reaction online was instant and intense. Fans of the original took to social media to express their outrage. Some called it blasphemous, others labeled it a huge mistake, and many couldn't hide their disappointment. One comment read, "Mel Gibson is making a big mistake in excluding Caviezel." His experience in the first film added a profound dimension to Jesus that no one else could replicate. Others were more practical, noting the age gap between Caviezel, now 57, and Ohtonen, 36, questioning whether the new actor could convincingly embody a man who famously died at 33. But the controversy goes beyond age or physical resemblance. Fans are worried about the spiritual authenticity of the performance. Questions about Ohtonen's faith and connection to the role began circulating online, with some asking, "He's handsome, but is he holy?" The recasting also sparked debates over representation, with critics suggesting that Jesus should perhaps have been portrayed by an actor with a closer connection to the region or cultural background. Others drew humorous comparisons to comic book universes, joking, "Different actors, same role, same universe. Can't wait for Jesus, no way home." The intensity of the reaction shows just how deeply people connect to the original film. For many, Caviezel wasn't just an actor. He was the embodiment of a story that resonated with their faith, their culture, and their emotions. Replacing him isn't a simple casting decision. It's a challenge to the memory of a film that defined a generation. And this is only the beginning. The reasons behind these choices, the production hurdles, and the fan backlash reveal a much larger story about why this sequel has become one of the most anticipated and most controversial films of the year. While fans focus on the faces on screen, the reasons behind the recasting reveal a mix of technical challenges, financial realities, and practical filmmaking decisions. The sequel comes more than 20 years after The Passion of the Christ, and at first, the production team hoped that Caviezel could return. Early discussions even considered using advanced CGI and digital de-aging to make him appear closer to the age of Jesus during the crucifixion. But the plan quickly proved to be too costly. Sources close to the production explained that fully recreating Caviezel's younger appearance would have required extensive visual effects, with hundreds of hours of digital work and a budget that would have easily doubled. In the end, it simply made more sense to cast younger actors and start fresh. Enter Jaakko Ohtonen, a 36-year-old Finnish actor best known for his intense performance as the warrior Woland in Netflix's The Last Kingdom. While his casting has sparked debate, the filmmakers believe he brings a fresh energy and physical presence to the role. Similarly, Mariela Garriga, who impressed audiences in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning, will now portray Mary Magdalene. Both actors are considerably younger than their predecessors, aligning with the historical ages of the biblical figures and allowing the story to unfold without relying on expensive digital effects. But practical reasons aside, the choice to recast has amplified the emotional tension surrounding the film. Fans are torn between respecting the filmmaker's vision and holding on to the familiar faces they grew to love. Some argue that Caviezel's performance in the original added layers of spirituality and gravitas that might be impossible to replicate. Others understand the economic and technical challenges, recognizing that Hollywood often faces tough decisions when balancing authenticity with production feasibility. Adding another layer of complexity, this sequel has already been labeled a long-delayed project, in part due to behind-the-scenes legal drama. Screenwriter Benedict Fitzgerald sued Gibson years ago over alleged fraud and contract disputes, creating additional hurdles that stalled production. That history now hangs over the new film, feeding speculation and heightening scrutiny around every casting decision. So, while the recasting may have practical explanations, it's clear that fans are not ready to simply accept the changes. The tension between old loyalties and new visions is only beginning, and what happens next could define whether the sequel is embraced or rejected by the audience who first fell in love with the story. Even before the cameras rolled, social media exploded with reactions to the recasting. Fans and critics alike took to X, Instagram, and comment sections to voice their outrage, disbelief, and, in some cases, dark humor. Many questioned whether Jaakko Ohtonen could capture the spiritual depth and intensity that Jim Caviezel brought to the role. One user wrote, "He's handsome, but is he holy? Mel, I am upset that you delayed the sequel for 21 years just because you can't use Caviezel." Others suggested that the role of Jesus should have gone to a Jewish actor, emphasizing historical authenticity and faith representation. At the same time, humorous comparisons began circulating online, with some likening the recasting to comic book films. Different actors, same role, same universe. Can't wait for the third one, Jesus. No way home. Memes and jokes spread rapidly, showing how deeply the topic had captured the imagination of fans beyond just traditional critics. Some argued the changes were practical, others saw them as sacrilegious, and many simply debated whether anyone could replace the actor who had defined the character for over 2 decades. Mary Magdalene's recasting sparked similar debates. Fans admired Monica Bellucci's portrayal for its emotional depth and mature presence, and some worried that Mariela Garriga, though talented, might not bring the same gravitas. Age became a recurring topic. Ohtonen and Garriga are both 36, aligning more closely with the historical ages of the figures, but far younger than Caviezel and Bellucci. Some viewers accepted the reasoning, noting that historical accuracy and storytelling sometimes require hard decisions. Others dismissed it outright, insisting that Caviezel's spiritual connection to the character was irreplaceable. The online reaction highlighted the powerful emotional attachment audiences had to the original film. For many, The Passion of the Christ was more than a movie. It was a deeply personal spiritual experience. Changing the cast wasn't just a production choice. It felt like altering the memory of a story that had touched millions. And as debates raged online, it became clear that this sequel would not just be judged by its storytelling or visuals, but by the emotional and cultural weight carried by its iconic characters. Even with all the criticism and memes, curiosity is building. Fans want to see whether Ohtonen and Garriga can step into roles that have been etched into cinematic history, and how their performances will shape a story that has already sparked intense discussion and decades later. Behind all the casting debates and fan outrage lies a story of production delays, legal battles, and Hollywood complexities that few viewers realize. The sequel to The Passion of the Christ has been over 2 decades in the making, and part of that long delay stems from legal drama involving the original screenwriter Benedict Fitzgerald. Years ago, Fitzgerald sued Mel Gibson for alleged fraud and breach of contract, claiming he had been promised a limited-budget project, but ended up spending his own money while receiving far less than expected. Though the lawsuit was eventually settled out of court, it left a mark on the production, slowing progress and creating lingering tension behind the scenes. This legal backdrop adds another layer of intrigue to the recasting controversy. Fans aren't just reacting to the choice of actors. They're reacting to a film that has been decades in the making, surrounded by disputes and unanswered questions. The delay amplified expectations, and every decision, from casting to budget allocation, is now under intense scrutiny. The public is watching not only the story on screen, but also the drama unfolding off-screen, making the sequel one of the most discussed projects in recent film history. Moreover, the extended timeline meant that Caviezel, now 57, no longer physically fits the age of Jesus, who was famously 33 at the time of the crucifixion. The filmmakers faced a difficult choice: either invest heavily in digital de-aging, risking unrealistic results and skyrocketing costs, or recast entirely and start fresh. This practical reality collided with fans' emotional attachment, sparking debates that extend beyond the film into discussions of authenticity, spirituality, and storytelling. Despite the controversies, production is moving forward. Every new casting decision, every update about the set becomes a headline, keeping fans engaged, curious, and sometimes furious. In many ways, the delays, lawsuits, and recasts have turned the film itself into a story, a real-life drama that mirrors the intensity and passion of the narrative it seeks to tell on screen. And yet, even with all these obstacles, anticipation is growing. People are now asking, will the new cast honor the legacy of the first film, or is this sequel destined to ignite further debate? As news of the recasting spread, social media erupted like wildfire. Fans flooded X, Instagram, and fan forums, turning the debate into a digital spectacle. Some expressed outright outrage, calling the decision disrespectful and blasphemous. Others defended the move, reminding everyone that it's ultimately a movie and the director has creative freedom. Memes and jokes proliferated, blending humor with criticism. One compared the recasting to superhero franchises, saying, "Different actors, same role, same universe. Can't wait for Jesus, no way home." The reactions weren't just about looks or age. Many questioned whether the new actors could capture the spiritual depth and emotional intensity of the original performances. Jim Caviezel's Jesus had become iconic, and fans feared that replacing him might dilute the profound impact of the story. Mary Magdalene's recast sparked similar debate. While Mariela Garriga is talented and experienced, some viewers worried that she might not bring the same mature gravitas that Monica Bellucci offered, creating tension between audience expectation and cinematic practicality. Interestingly, the social media frenzy also revealed a divide between casual viewers and deeply invested fans. Casual audiences posted humorous takes and pop culture references, while die-hard fans debated faith, historical accuracy, and emotional authenticity. Age, ethnicity, and faith of the new cast members became recurring points of discussion, showing that the sequel was being judged not just as a film, but as a cultural and spiritual event. The online conversation amplified the anticipation for the sequel. Every fan comment, meme, and reaction kept the story alive, creating a feedback loop where controversy drove curiosity. People who might never have watched the original found themselves following the drama, eager to see how the story and the performances would unfold. And while the online debates continue, the question remains: will the new actors honor the legacy of the original, or will the sequel spark even more heated controversy when it finally hits the screen? With production finally underway and the new cast in place, speculation is already spreading like wildfire. Fans and insiders are asking the big questions. Will Jaakko Ohtonen capture the spiritual presence that made Caviezel's performance unforgettable? Will Mariela Garriga bring a new depth to Mary Magdalene, or will the shadow of the original be too strong? Rumors suggest that Caviezel might still appear in a cameo, but nothing has been confirmed. Every update sparks a frenzy online, with debates about faith, authenticity, and historical accuracy taking center stage. Some fans are imagining the sequel as the start of a broader cinematic universe. Jokes about multiple Jesuses appearing in future installments, like a mashup of superhero crossovers, show how invested audiences are in the story. Others speculate whether the recast will bring fresh energy, attracting a younger audience and sparking renewed interest in the biblical narrative. The mixture of curiosity, excitement, and skepticism keeps viewers glued to every news update, social media post, and trailer teaser. Meanwhile, the secrecy surrounding production decisions adds to the suspense. Even small hints about plot direction, filming locations, or character arcs send waves of speculation online. Every tweet, comment, and fan theory fuels engagement, turning the controversy into a marketing engine in its own right. People aren't just watching the film, they're watching the drama unfold before the cameras. And as the conversation grows, one question lingers above all others. Can this new version honor the spiritual and emotional weight of the original, or will it be remembered as the sequel that divide fans for generations? After more than 2 decades, Mel Gibson's sequel, The Resurrection of the Christ, is finally coming to life. But with iconic roles recast, legal battles in the past, and fans divided over every choice, the film has already become as much a story behind the scenes as it is on screen. The recasting of Jesus and Mary Magdalene has sparked debates about faith, authenticity, and the emotional weight of legacy, questions that go far beyond simple movie-making. Some fans worry that replacing Caviezel and Bellucci may dilute the impact of the original performances, while others are eager to see how fresh talent could bring a new perspective to these legendary characters. Social media continues to buzz with theories, jokes, and heated arguments, proving that anticipation alone can keep a story alive for decades. Ultimately, the real question isn't just who plays these roles. It's whether the new film can honor the depth, drama, and devotion that made the first movie unforgettable. Will it be a continuation worthy of its predecessor, or a bold reinterpretation that sparks even more controversy? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. Fans around the world will be watching every step of the journey, and the conversation isn't over yet.